In this episode of the How to Get on Reality TV podcast, we talk about how to leverage the internet to help your casting chances. Welcome to the How to Get on Reality TV podcast with Dan Giesling, where I answer your reality TV casting questions once a week. Welcome to another episode of the How to Get on Reality TV podcast. My name is Dan Giesling, and I'm excited to be here this morning, this day, this afternoon, this evening, whenever you are planning on listening to this or whenever you are listening to this. We have a great question from Scott all about the internet and internet sensations and online communities and how you can leverage that to get cast on a reality TV show. But before we answer his question in this week's podcast, I want to let you guys know about the email list. If you guys haven't signed up at howtogetonrealitytv.net/list, you're missing out because every week I send one email out with a link to the podcast in case you miss it. But in addition to that, I always include an extra tip about each week's question that you won't find on the podcast. So I do this for those of you guys that want to take it one step further. If you have a little bit more time than to just listen to the podcast, you'll get some value out of that. Something that you can read and be like, that's an additional thing I can do into the tips that we leave in the podcast. So if you haven't joined the list, you can do so by going to howtogetonrealitytv.net/list. You'll get one email a week, no spam. And that's a promise for me. So with that being said, let's go ahead and jump into Scott's question, which is all about leveraging the internet for your casting chances.
Hello, at Dan Giesling. This is at Carl Scott Butler. My question to you is real simple. It seems like nowadays every show has an internet sensation as a contestant. My question to you is, how can we use social media to help enhance our character? And is there one site better than any of the others? Is it better to be on Twitter than Facebook? Or are they all the same in helping us develop who we are? Thanks a lot, and #awesome job.
Hey Scott, thanks so much for submitting that question. I appreciate you taking the time out to submit that through the website. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. This is probably going to be one of the quicker answers you're going to hear without a ton of straying off path. But let's go ahead and break this down. So you say you're starting to see a lot of internet sensations being cast on reality TV, and you want to know how you can use social media to help enhance your character. And that's exactly what you need to do. You need to do it to help enhance your character, because here's the thing: these internet sensations, as you call them, or internet personalities, most likely someone with a YouTube following, that's not something that happened overnight. They've been doing it for years and years and years, or they leveraged a celebrity connection to help build that, probably a lot more quicker than someone who's built it for at least 4 years. So what I want to make sure, I want to frame this in the right way, that when we're talking about social media in direct relation to you, Scott, in casting, is your goal is not to become an internet sensation, because that's not, if you're trying to get on reality TV, that's not a direct goal that is attainable in the same amount of time to get cast on reality TV, if that makes sense. So what you do want to do, but before we talk about that, I feel like I have to mention why these internet sensations are being cast. And number one, I feel the reason they're being cast is because it's an easy chyron, right? So if you see, it says like Scott, it says, YouTube personality, boom, that's a really, really easy sell. You don't have to figure out what your chyron is. I make videos on the internet. Boom. Internet sense. You can tell me what the chyron is. You can label that person on the show, and everyone's going to understand who that person is or what they do. The other thing is that chances are if they're on the internet and creating videos, they have a naturally dynamic, or they're very camera trained, even though it's just a little webcam or a vlogging camera, they're camera ready. So when they come into casting, it's probably second nature for a lot of them. The third thing is whether, it's a smart business and casting move to put internet sensations on a show, while you or whoever else, myself, whoever, may not enjoy watching a specific personality. Chances are they're bringing a solid audience to watch the show, guaranteed. And that's one of the things you should never use to pitch to get yourself cast on reality TV and say, hey, oh look, I have a million subscribers on YouTube, they're all gonna watch. That's not what you don't want to go that route. But that is the reality of the situation, that more people are going to watch a show just because one of their favorite YouTube personalities is on it than if they're not. So there is that element of that. Bottom line is, none of that stuff matters to you as an individual. What does matter is how can you leverage social media to help your chance of getting cast. And there's really only one way to do that. And to understand that, I want to tell you 2 things that you definitely should not do. The number one thing you can't do, and if you guys had seen my video, the 5 deadly mistakes of getting cast, of trying to get cast on reality TV, it's like a 45-minute YouTube video that's up there. Speaking of YouTube, you can check that out. It's really easy. We'll put a link in the show notes for that. But the first thing you don't want to do is you don't want to start a social media campaign. So don't go on Twitter and start the hashtag Scott for Amazing Race. Just don't do it. It's not going to work, because at the end of the day, you have to sell yourself. If you had 1 million people retweeting that, it still doesn't matter, because it's about you at the end. It's not about your ability to leverage other people to say how great you are. Unfortunately, although it's weird and not normal, you have to be able to tell everyone how great you are to get cast on reality TV. The second thing you don't want to do on social media, no matter what platform, is you don't want to stalk and annoy people in casting. So say you make it to semifinals, you make a connection with a casting associate. Sure, maybe you want to follow them, but maybe that's about as far as you want to go. You don't want to constantly inundate them with messages and bother them and stalk them and ask them why you didn't get cast. So don't do that. So don't start a campaign, and don't annoy or stalk casting people on social media. Not saying that you're going to do that, but just want to give you guys a heads up as things definitely not to do. The one thing you do want to do with social media, and this is the best part of it, there is no one platform that's saying, oh, that's going to directly help you get cast on reality TV. You have to pick the platform or platforms that best suit your personality. So whether it's Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, whatever, use some or all of those, but use them to share your life right now. And because here's the thing that's going to happen. If you get to the later stages in casting, if you get past the first round, they're going to look you up. Even if you send in a video and they're somewhat intrigued, they're going to look you up. So they type in your name in Facebook, and you say that you're this amazing fisherman, you're a world-class fisherman, and you're a master angler. You guys are impressed that I know what that is. And you're a master angler, and they go to your Facebook page, and there's nothing to do with fishing at all, no pictures of fish or you holding fish. Then it's probably, they're going to be like, oh, what is this guy? Maybe they'll take a chance on you, but they would think someone who's obsessed with fishing would have fishing all over their social media campaign. Same thing if you're a dancer. If you're a dancer and they want to see you in action, you should have videos of that posted. Not for the fact just for casting, but you should be sharing. I don't want to tell people how to use social media, but if you're interested in leveraging social media, that's the way you're going to gain a little bit of street cred with the casting people. So if they go to your profile and everything you say matches up with everything you've posted or shared with social media. And that's where the problem lies with some people, because all the information and help I try to share with you guys through the podcast is that everything has to align with your character. So your character isn't like, okay, I'm this judge, and I'd say I'm this crazy lawyer. I make up the story I'm a lawyer, because that can be easily found out. That's a horrible example, and I apologize for that. But bottom line is, you have to exaggerate your personality, and you have to pull real things out from your personality and accentuate them. They may be things that you minimize in your real life. There may be things that you're shared or you think they're weird about yourself to share with people, but those are the things that make you unique, and those are the things you should share on social media. But those are the things, just from a general confidence standpoint, those are the things that you share. You'd be like, people are going to think this is weird. But that's exactly what's going to get you cast on reality TV. So when using social media, share those things that you're talking about in your casting video or in your audition tape. Share it like you normally would. Maybe that means you're going to have to start actually using social media and start putting yourself out there a little bit, and that's tough to do. But bottom line, if you're serious about getting on reality TV, there's a little bit of leverage for you. It's just by when people go to Google you or when they go to search you on social media, make sure what you're talking about, what in your audition about with your casting character aligns with your person. And that's also a great barometer for you, because you don't want to go so far out there in reality TV casting and making all these things up about yourself that aren't true, because if you post that stuff to the people that know you, they're going to be like, dude, this isn't you. This isn't true. Why are you saying this? Why are you doing this? So it'll be a good barometer. So it's a funny It's a funny dynamic, but if you're looking to leverage social media to get cast on reality TV, that's the only way you're going to be able to do it. But Scott, thank you so much for submitting your question. As a small thank you, we're going to send you a digital copy of my story, How a Normal Guy Got Cast on Reality TV. And if you're interested in having your question answered on the podcast, you can leave it either on the website through your iPhone or a smartphone or through a tablet by going to howtogetonrealitytv.net/ask. Thank you so much for asking your question. Wow, that was a good one. Scott, thank you so much. I hope a lot of you guys take that into heart about social media and what to do and what not to do. And don't put too much pressure on yourself. And most importantly, don't compare yourself to internet sensations that are cast on reality TV, because it's not a fair comparison. You are who you are, and they are who they are. And you guys each have different strengths. So don't get discouraged by that, because you're going to continue to see that. I would be surprised if you don't see more and more internet personalities cast on shows. It just makes a lot of sense to do that. But just want to remind you guys that, speaking of the internet, if you are on the internet right now, go to howtogetonrealitytv.net/list and sign up for the email list. You'll get one email a week with a link to the podcast and one additional tip regarding, for this week, Scott's question about how to take it one step further on social media, or whatever the question is that week. I'm going to add one additional tip in the email list as a small thank you for you guys, and an additional way to help you guys through that. So you can do that by joining howtogetonrealitytv.net/list. I think that's it for today. Thank you guys so much for listening, watching, being part of the show. Those of you guys that have submitted voicemail questions, I'm going to do my best to get to them all, but thank you guys. You guys are the ones that run the show. You guys keep the show going by asking these awesome questions. And I hope you guys have a great week, and good luck on your casting journey. Later, guys.